Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to February 2020. I hope that your season and the eclipse season and the beginning of this new year were beautiful for you and nurturing. And I know it was a really powerful time. We're all getting our sea legs, I think, in this new dynamic, in this new energetic dynamic of 2020, of our collective kind of feel, the things we're working with, the challenges we're working with. And February is a really great check in time. It takes all that we learned over those months in December and January and gives us a second to pause, to check in. And I had a really strong, clear note that popped up for Capricorn when I sat with your energy, which is that only love will light up your willpower at this point. And I think that was an interesting message to come through. It hit me because we can all think about that message, right? Where often in our lives we won't even second guess it or think about how sometimes those points of willpower, those points of creativity, those points of pushing through and getting something done aren't coming from a place of like ease and love and enjoyment. There's a lot of times we feel that need because we want to survive. And we're worried that we won't survive if we are acting in a way that really shows who we are. And so this month, that's going to be one of the big themes for you. Just checking in with it, fine tuning, feeling out where, your motivations are coming from and what's feeling really good to you and what has that ick factor, that feeling of heaviness, of discomfort. And partially that has to do with Mercury moving through communication houses and self-value houses. Also, we have the sun moving through Aquarius, your neighboring sign, and moving through that house of value. And these two transits, they're kind of overlapping. The sun's going through Aquarius and moving to Pisces, and Mercury is moving back through Pisces into Aquarius. These two are interweaving during the month of February and having us go over these things. Now, I always think of Mercury retrograde as a gift, especially when there's been a lot of high impact restructuring, refoundationing that we've been doing like we have. We need to slow down. And I will be doing a Mercury retrograde video over on Patreon if you're looking for more resources and how to kind of enjoy and embrace the logic and the magic of Mercury retrograde, because it's really, especially in water signs, what we're doing here is we're going over our emotional health. For you, Pisces, because it's transiting most of the time through Pisces and it's retrograde, is going to be about how you use this throat chakra, how you use your voice, how you communicate, and how you tell stories to yourself and to those close to you and around you. We also have a full moon in Leo in your 8th house, which is that 8th house energy. And Leo has a really interesting connection to you, Capricorns, is a death and rebirth energy. It is about kind of tapping into what you want to release. So this full moon, especially if you're Capricorn rising, this full moon is going to hit into you releasing an old version of yourself. So where we have those eclipses in Cancer, Capricorn, this full moon can kind of complete and finalize that process for you and help you move forward fully. And that's what I'm saying about February, getting our sea legs, really feeling through this energy, cleaning up the last little bits that have maybe been left over from the habits we had before these eclipses hit, the habits we had maybe in 2018, 2019 that we're not wanting to take with us into 2020. This is constant practice, right? And so each of these waves of energy help us to shift and calibrate toward what we're looking to do. So you have a really powerful full moon in Leo on the 9th. The Mercury retrograde starts on February 17th, and that'll go until March 10th, at which point it'll be at the last degrees of Aquarius. And of course, then we move from Aquarius season into Pisces season. We have a new moon in Pisces on the 23rd. And I do think in some ways the energy gets a little lighter for you once we hit near the end of the month. I'm going to start shuffling here. There's also, the other thing, how could I forget this? Mars is entering Capricorn as well this month on the 16th, and that is a determination factor. I think, when Mars is in your sign, you kind of feel pumped up to go and get some stuff done. But that's where I'm saying, you have this transformational energy working behind the scenes with you, and you have Mars there saying, let's go. That willpower can only come from a place of Justice, wow, of authenticity, of empowerment, of that clarity of feeling that what you're doing is motivated by something deeper, something truer than maybe just purely duty or the star. I'm loving these. You know, when I was saying, you know, clarifying messages, clarifying storytelling, clarifying the way you use that throat chakra energy and that intellectual energy. These are air sign energies tied to Libra and Aquarius. And they're also about healing. They're also about getting clarity. They're also about seeing things clearly. If you've been feeling kind of foggy, or you've been feeling a little uncertain about a decision and feeling kind of scared to maybe own and give yourself the permission to be who you're becoming next. Six of Cups. That is interesting. We'll get into why I think that's so interesting. This is a time, this Mercury retrograde and this transit through, and the sun's transit through Aquarius into Pisces, is helping you to give yourself full permission to live in new modalities. So you'll be noticing that there's check-ins for that. Page of Wands. There's a lot of clarity in these cards. And I think that's the thing, that crystal clarity of knowing. Ace of Pentacles, I'm loving it, of knowing where you're going and knowing that, you know, you've already made the deals. You made the deals with yourself in December and January about how you wanted to show up this year already. And you'll be noticing that strength. Wow, really positive energies here. You'll be noticing that 10 of Wands, Cappies, you'll be noticing that having made those agreements and having felt really clear and in alignment with those agreements. And 4 of Wands, wow, Cappies, you have one of the most positive, like holding readings that I've seen for February, because for a lot of signs this is going to be a pretty intensive month, but I guess you kind of already did some of that work in the last couple of months. So February has a different feel, but you'll be noticing that the elements coming into your life, or the things you're coming into contact with, are helping you reaffirm your choices and your decisions and how you're owning this big legacy. Because, okay, like I said, Justice and the Star are very clear. They're crystalline energies, right? Justice often gives us the answer we've been waiting for, and the Star gives us that ability to kind of perceive the bigger picture, the bigger logic of something, and really tap into the essence of our, like, soul pattern, our North Star, so to speak. And so these two, like I said, take that fog off, where maybe you like say, you know, those stories come up sometimes in our mind. Well, maybe I'm not allowed to just be this happy or this adventurous or this curious. Maybe I'm not allowed to explore this aspect of myself, because if I do, maybe it'll throw everything off, right? Those old protective mechanisms, you can see them very clearly, and you can also see that you want to expand beyond all of that. And so these are really clear energies, and I think you'll be getting a lot of very blindingly clear messages coming through at the beginning of this month. And the thing that's really, and why I was saying, you know, the next card that came up was 6 of Cups. And that is interesting, because so much of this reading is about the future. It's about the future is now, right? Like, it's about that connecting in with, you know, facing forward into the excitement and the mystery and the adventure. Now, the 6 of Cups is very much looking back. The 6 of Cups takes us to a really deep emotive place, very Mercury retrograde, right? Going over stuff, reevaluating, taking a moment to kind of look around. 6 of Cups takes us deep into sentimentalism, into those places of memory, of nostalgia, of old ways, things that maybe are really dear to your heart from childhood, but they're also connected to more complex stories from childhood as well. And so it's a double-edged sword with 6 of Cups, because we can idealize what those times were like in the past loves, past lifestyles, and we can say, maybe I've made a mistake in letting those go, or maybe I shouldn't be here right now. And it's very tempting to start getting into that territory. Maybe I could have done something better. Maybe I could have tried harder. Maybe that really was my path and I missed it, or something like that. And it's okay to look over that stuff, but just kind of keep in mind that that's all a mirage. What matters is this forward vision. So if you, and the thing that I'm getting to is if you get some kind of reminder of your past, or you get some kind of connective moment where you're looking at some aspect of your life that has been, that maybe has fallen away over the last year, you'll notice as well that you don't click in with it. So even if there's a part of you that wants to go back there or feels they should go back there or feels guilt about it or what have you, you'll be noticing you can't force yourself to click into it, and that will be a helpful clarifier. So once again, everything's kind of helping you to feel and affirm that you're okay where you are and that you're allowed to really own this. And that's going to be the work that's being done in February. Now, because you look at that Six of Cups, which is so much about nostalgia, and then you look here at Page of Wands and Ace of Pentacles. What was I saying about future forward focused energy? These are energies of like just opening the door, right? These are kind of beginner energies in a way. They're about navigating a new adventure, learning new skill sets, maybe not being all set up and like, yep, I already know how to do this. This is easy. I've done this before. This is the type of energy and opportunities that come in via creative inspiration, via creative people that can help you, via financial and practical infusions in your life, right? These are gifts that come in, but what they ask you to do is show up as a beginner, and they ask you to learn new skills. And those skills can range from anything from being good at being vulnerable with partners and being honest, to learning language, to learning an entire new skill set in a work environment, to even, you always wanted to paint and you've never painted, returning to painting, or starting painting, right? This is that type of energy where you're not good at something already, but you're being asked to really let your heart open because it's speaking to you about this. So there's some kind of new project, new beginning going on here. And it's something that you are meant to sustain for a while. You're starting a new energetic cycle here. I think it's taken until February to really feel that sense that you're in it, because there was so much about going into our internal dungeons, into our internal haunted houses, into doing some really deep work around the new year and through January. And so it's taken until the February, March time for many of us to feel that we're really clicked in. For you guys, I think February, you're going to be noticing that click in, because we have all this infusion of opportunity, and we also have cards that really speak to sustaining something long term. And the choices you're making and the things you're connecting in with emotively, emotionally, creatively are going to keep speaking to you for a while. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what you're going to be doing. And this is a great place to be. I love it for the Capricorns out there. So strength is really interesting. Once again, it connects for me with that Leo full moon, and really letting those final shreds of who maybe you've been in the past, you feel like you should still be, go. But strength also speaks to maybe you have some Leo energy in your life, creativity, playfulness, childlikeness, and also sustaining something over time, taking your time, building it slowly, not trying to burn down the forest, but to kindle and to slowly nurture something into existence, right? Strength is a really powerful card for remembering that often the most beautiful things that are built aren't built in a hurry or in a rush or in a frenzy of fear of it going away. It's built with this kind of understanding that it starts with just feeling good. It starts with just picking up the paintbrush or writing one sentence, and that you just keep doing that and you feel the ease of it, right? And so there's a really strong theme here of, yes, you're beginning, yes, you're learning new things, and it's not meant to be this hellfire heavy thing. Now, this is what's interesting, because so strength is all about the ease and the softness. 10 of Wands is all about doing it the hard way. And we all know you're capable of 10 of Wands. We all know you're capable of picking up the tasks that need to be done and getting them done and just making it happen, working with what you've got and making it happen. Great. Okay. We all know you can do that, right? The invitation here is really interesting, because you're going to be noticing you get invitations of both kinds in February. Once again, that Mercury retrograde is going to be asking you which types of experience do you want to have? Do you want to have more of the strength energy, or do you want to have more of the Ten of Wands? And that's up to you. That's up to you. But there's an invitation with Ten of Wands to put something down. Let it rest. It's probably tied to the Six of Cups, an old way of doing things, a way of doing things that felt necessary for a long time, that felt like it was keeping you safe, was keeping you valuable, was keeping you lovable. But that's no longer applying here, because your last card, I love it. This is such a romantic, sweet energy. The Four of Wands. Such a good energy. This is a culminating energy. Obviously the classic symbolism here is of a wedding, a celebration of that kind, with a kind of a chuppah situation. But you can also think about this as a harvest, as just any kind of celebration in life where you really hit some kind of beautiful point. There's something to celebrate here. And obviously there's a big infusions of very healing, positive energy here. There's a lot holding you and nurturing you and saying you are allowed to move into this next phase. You're allowed to go. You're allowed to be in that. You're allowed to fully own who you're becoming next. That is your gift. And so this calibration process, you're going to be noticing you get tempted to put all that pressure on yourself, and then you remember and you sit with it and you soften, and then it still keeps working. The world still keeps working. In fact, it starts working better. It's not that you're going to be sitting still, just meditating and being bored. It's that it starts with the way we feel about all that we're doing in life. And when we are putting pedal to the metal, and we're like pushing ourselves, and we're like burning through our fuel, and we wonder why things aren't functioning well, and then we take all that pressure off, we pull more into that strength energy. What happens is we start off maybe sitting there for an extra 30 minutes just sipping on our tea or our coffee, and then an idea springs, and then suddenly you're doing those things, you're making those phone calls, you're talking. Oh, I have a bowl of words here that I wrote up for the month of February. I'm going to pull one word for you all to close out our discussion today. I'm loving this energy for you guys, though. I really love that it's not turbulent. It's not about harshness. It's not about learning the hard way. Connection. Oh, that is so good. I have to say, you do have very connective cards here. I've been talking a lot about your kind of individual, connecting in with your curiosity, your creativity, your playfulness, but the Star, strength, justice, the Four of Wands, the Six of Cups. These are all very connective energies. And I think one of the things that happens when you are letting yourself be who you are and be the creative, loving, adventurous being that you are, you also are practicing vulnerability. You're also practicing deeper connection with those you love, and you're letting them come in and help you, see you, love you fully for who you truly are. And that, speaking of beginner phase, that's one of those practices I think we all are working on at all times and always kind of feel like a beginner at. It's always a space of bravery and courage to go there. And so there is deep connection in your month as well. And I love that as the word for you, because I think the other thing that comes to mind when I think about doing things with that softer, easier mentality is that you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it in ways that feel harsh and heavy. You are allowed to invite others to love you and give to you as well. And that may be a really big thing that comes up during this Mercury retrograde and during the month of February. Like I said, if you're looking for more resources during these moons, during the Mercury retrograde, or you want to know a little bit more about how I'm doing with all of that energy, you can go check out my Patreon. There's a lot of great resources there that I'm always adding every week. You can also find me on Instagram at SarahVerba. And I do have a few sessions still available in February, and I'll be opening up more in March. So if you're looking to work one-on-one with me, I would love to see you over on my website. I'll leave the booking link below so you can book directly there for a session that works with your schedule. And like I said, keep an eye out. I'll keep opening up more sessions as the months elapse. And of course, I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. So if you're looking to give yourself a gift of calming handmade, heart-centered jewelry. She's a great resource, one of my best friends. So go check her out. All of the goodies are in the description box. I'll see you in March for more of this Piscean magic and more of this Mercury retrograde that we have going on. And I hope you have a beautiful month of connection and magic and ease. Sending you so much love.